In this lesson, we'll continue to explore AutoCAD's interface. Alright, so now that we're familiar with how this is broken down as far as tabs, palettes, and ribbons, and we have access to those drop-downs, there's a few things that AutoCAD does nicely here where you can actually do some customization. So this top little area here, you'll notice right next to our application menu, you'll see we have access to a lot of small icons. This allows us really quick access to a lot of your main things like new, open, save, and save as, and things of that nature. And then when you click on this application menu here, which is basically the icon for AutoCAD, I can click down and now see you have access to those as well, just larger icons and other things to work with. So within this, we still have that new, open, save, save as, but we can also export items, a number of files, so formats. We have FBX, PDF, DWX, so on and so forth. We can publish our drawings. We can also print our drawings here. So we have plot preview, page setup. We have our suite workflows. You have your drawing utilities, which allows us to kind of customize and set the drawing units, my drawing properties, and kind of set the stage and make things easier to draw within AutoCAD. So this is where you can actually access a lot of that info. If we wanted to close out, we can do the same thing there. And you'll notice, like in a lot of other applications, we have access to our previous projects we've been working on. So a lot of things that you see here are what we saw in that new tab in our previous lesson. So that's what's going on in our application menu. So I can click on that to get out. So what's cool about this is I can now customize this, so I can add and take away things that I don't want within my application here. So I can come here and anything that's checked, you'll notice that I'll have a graphic up here. So if I wanted to add workspace, I'll simply check it and it automatically brings up this workspace area here. And this icon is just a little bit larger than the rest, but this is what it brings up, which brings up an important point. Now, AutoCAD is more than just doing two-dimensional drawings. And by me clicking on that workspace and adding it to my quick access bar here, I now have quick access to the different interfaces within AutoCAD. So the concept of tabs, ribbons, and panels is exactly the same within each, but the function of each one is a little different. So right now we're in drafting and annotation. So a lot of your 2D work will be done right here. But if I wanted to get to 3D, I can jump to my 3D basics here, and then I have access to three-dimensional tools. And again, tabs, the ribbon, and then the ribbon chopped up into panels. Exactly the same layout. And the logic is there. It spells it out for you and it shows you graphically. So it makes it real easy to find the tool and also understand what it does. So again, several tabs up here. Same thing here for 3D modeling, and 3D modeling goes a little more in depth. This in 3D basics, we're doing more, I would say, more solid modeling. In 3D modeling workspace here, we go a little more in depth and do a little more complicated type of three-dimensional modeling where we're actually tackling solids, surfaces, and meshes, and also tapping into some parametric capabilities, which is very, very powerful and very helpful too. So we're going to jump back to our drafting and annotation just to kind of keep things simple. So we know that this is important. So once you open this and once you get out of your file and you get back in, this will kind of always be there until you tell AutoCAD that you don't want it anymore. And if you didn't want it, you simply go down and deselect it and it'll take it away. But in our case, I'm going to go ahead and keep this because I want that access. I want to be able to jump around between different workspaces to access different tools quickly because I might not have every command memorized. So I highly recommend keeping that there and adding that to your quick access toolbar. So how would we go about viewing our project here? Well, our mouse is very handy to get that done. I can zoom in and zoom out here using my wheel. We can also push down the wheel on my mouse and I can pan left, pan right. What I often do and what I utilize most of the time is my shift and my wheel. So I'll hold down shift, hold down on my wheel, and I can actually move around. So I can kind of get 3D views with this, and I can get any angle I want. But if I ever want to jump back around to an original position or see other areas, I have this handy dandy view cube here. I love using this thing. One, helps me get oriented a lot, but also allows me to jump into really quick views like maybe top views, or if I want to jump into an elevation view, I can. So how this works, this cube is basically spelled out for you, all your views. So if you could see my mouse is highlighted, it reads top. So if I click on top, boom, I get a top view. If I go on the corner of this cube, you notice we have north, east, southwest. This corner represents the southwest corner. So I click on that, it'll give me a nice southwest corner view. And you can tell as I move my mouse around, it highlights the edges really nicely, so I know exactly what kind of view I'm getting. So if I click on this edge here, I'm going to get that angled elevation. If I want to get a straight on, full on elevation, I'll click on left, and that'll bring me my left elevation. So what you see here is just a two-dimensional drawing, but if this was three-dimensional, we'd see that elevation there. Now, if I need to get oriented back to my original position and I want to make sure my north is pointed upward, I'm going to use my shift and mouse to kind of help me get that accomplished. So I can move around, and you'll see north is kind of here on this side. If I were to click top, it doesn't automatically shoot it to where north is here on top. It gets it to where north is the closest. So if I did want to get it to where my north is back here on top, I can use my shift, hold down my wheel, move to where my north is pretty much where it needs to be. I'll click top, and I'll get oriented nicely back to where I want it to be. And you can kind of use that through on and throughout. So that's how you basically set up your access to your drafting and annotation, and also how to work with your view cube. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at our panel here, navigation bar, and we'll also take a look at what's going on down here in our status bar. So I'll meet you in the next lesson.